Hello and welcome. Silver can be a great investment if bought at the right times and for the right reasons. I am personally buying silver right now based on the current price of silver and the current cost to produce silver. However, I hear the phrase that silver is a historic store of wealth or has always been a hedge on inflation. And that has not always been the case. There are times when silver has been a great hedge on inflation, but there have also been times when silver has not. Let's go back to the 1800s and look at a 50-year period. In 1864, silver was $2.94 an ounce. By 1870, the price had dropped to $1.43 per ounce. People that bought silver in 1864 and held it to 1870 lost over 50% of their value during that time. 10 years later, in 1880, silver had dropped to $1.12 per ounce. People that bought silver in 1870 and held it until 1880 lost over 20% of their value during that time. People that had bought silver in 1864 and held it to 1880 had lost 60% of their value in 16 years. 10 years later, in 1890, silver had dropped to $1.06 per ounce. People that had bought silver in 1880 and held it till 1890 lost over 5% of their value during that time. People that had bought silver in 1864 were now down about 64%. 10 years later, in 1900, silver had dropped again to 65 cents per ounce. People that had bought silver in 1890 and held it to 1900 lost almost 40% of their value in those 10 years. People that had bought in 1880 were now down about 42%. People that had bought in 1870 were down about 55%, and people that bought in 1864 were now down over 75%, more than 3/4 of the value lost. 10 years later, in 1910, silver dropped again to 55 cents per ounce. Silver lost over 15% of its value over the previous 10 years, and 48% of its value over the previous 20 years. Finishing off the 50-year period, in 1914, silver was 50 cents an ounce. Silver lost another 9% of its value just since 1910. Over this 50-year period from 1864 to 1914, silver lost 83% of its value. Hardly keeping up with inflation, hardly a store of wealth and value. There are many reasons to buy silver at the right time, but do not buy silver at the wrong time and or for the wrong reasons. Silver a store of wealth and value? Not always.